Every 3 years, the best sailors on the planet compete in the world's toughest offshore challenge, the Volvo Ocean Race.
1, 2, go!
Stench.
For the 12th edition, 7 teams left Alicante, Spain, to cross 4 oceans and 5 continents over 9 months. It is the ultimate endurance test that all professional sailors dream of doing.
It's just relentless.
With a fleet solely composed of the Volvo Ocean 65, a boat designed to take on the most grueling offshore race. Crews are pushed to the limit in a competition that has never been closer. Battling 24/7, fighting storms, and defying the worst that Mother Nature can throw at them.
You get a beating out there.
Pushing the crews to a place where there is only a thin margin between winning the leg
First one. Nice, very nice.
or losing it all.
I can't believe this. I can't actually believe this happening.
This is their story. It's leg 5 of the Volvo Ocean Race, the toughest leg of all, taking the fleet through the rough and unforgiving Southern Ocean from Auckland, New Zealand to Itajaí, Brazil. The ice-cold temperatures and heavy winds have put pressure on the crew and boats as they race towards Cape Horn. Unfortunately, Dongfeng race team have just gone through what the sailors call a Chinese jibe. It's an accidental jibe caused by either strong winds or a big wave, in which the boat heels to windward. The mainsail slams over, and the boat ends up on its side, with the keel keeping it down. In such drastic weather, the Franco-Chinese boat is not the only one to suffer that fate. At sunrise, Mapfre is also in trouble.
That's what you call a Chinese jibe. Not very funny, but obviously pretty breezy. Big waves, just coming down a big wave, nose went in, and sort of rudders, a bit of a pitch pole.
Nice time.
And that's it, out of control. Into a jibe, obviously laid on its side then. No disastrous damage, but tore the J2, and then we've done a bit of damage to the main.
To avoid losing any ground to the competition, the crew has no choice other than to start fixing their problems straight away. And the Spanish team is not the only other team to find themselves on their side in the middle of the Southern Ocean. As darkness falls, Team SCA is next to experience the full force of a Chinese jibe.
We've blown up our throw, not just ripped it, but blown it up. And it landed in the water. So we had all hands on deck. We had to drop the mainsail, get the boat under control, and then we fished the sail out of the water. It's the only one we've got, so we've got to repair it. And now we're getting the boat back in order, assessing for damage, and hopefully start sailing in the right direction. Everyone is safe, the boat is safe. We just have a damaged sail. That we can live with. Yeah, that's fine.
We already had our J2 up as our backup sail for when things were getting a bit too hairy with the throw, so we've just managed to get the boat under control and deploy the J2 and at least just get the boat moving in the right direction, and then the next thing will be to check the main, make sure we haven't done any more damage. We've broken one batten, we know for sure, maybe we've broken more, so got to run some checks on that, and we've got half the stack falling out the back of the boat, so We're working on getting the sap back on board and yeah, just tidying up the mess.
Miles away on dry land, Team SCA sailor Justine Metro is back home for the first time this race.
At the moment we're in Crézu. It's a small chalet we have in my family. It's a bit in the countryside of Switzerland at the start of the mountains. We have a bit the same weather than in the Cape Horn today.
She may be away from the boat, but her thoughts are always with her team.
I had a few mails from Hello and from Annie and Libby also, the navigator, and yeah, it's just nice to have a bit more the story of how it is really on board, and yeah, I'm trying to support them as I can from where I am. To me, it's difficult to look at their track, and we know that they're missing a sail, so they can't really sail properly, and I think you can really see it, like the track is not really nice, and they're losing ground in every sked. So usually for a part of the race we're into it and we're managing to do good stuff and we're in the game, but at the end we're always losing little by little. What was nice, I think, between the first leg and the fourth leg is that we've been improving and getting closer and closer to the front guys.
Being last is not easy, especially when sailing means the world to you.
I started sailing here in Switzerland with my father, just for as a hobby. Then when I was a teenager, I really started to sail offshore, and then little by little I've been able to join professional projects, and in 2012 I started to prepare the mini transat, and then I joined the Team SCA.
Justine's sister Elodie is also part of Team SCA.
Hello joined the selection process quite late, so at this stage I already knew I would be part of the team. I think we've been sailing together a lot also when we were training and in other projects before, so we're used to sail with each other. We also have the same way to sail, so for us it's quite easy to work together and to try to make the boat go fast.
But missing out on the Southern Ocean leg wasn't easy for Justine.
I was pretty disappointed not to do this leg because it's one of the main legs of the Volvo, and I've never been around Cape Horn, and when you sign for the race it's also the leg you're thinking about. At the same time you really know how it is on board, and sometimes you're happy to be on land and dry and comfortable, and sometimes you look at the footage and you just want to be out there. So yeah, I think you've got a bit of moments, and yeah, just try to have to deal with that and take the positive side of it. It's good to have some rest, and it's good also like more for the physical side, because you're just doing the legs and physically you're losing strength and everything. So now I've got the time to retrain properly, and I think it's also good to be well trained and to take less risks to get hurt also for the rest of the race.
Back on the water, the fleet are sharing something with faraway Justine: the very cold weather. On board, the sailors know that they need to take care of themselves in such extreme conditions.
The survival suit's really dry. It's pretty warm, and if you did ever fall or go in the water, it's what you want to be wearing. So if there's a time and a place, now's pretty good.
Yeah, warm gear is really important, because if you don't have it, you can't do your job. So you can't stay on deck very long and you can't do anything.
It's basically a dry suit. It keeps you dry from head to toe, except for your hands and face.
In this extreme part of the world, being wet or cold means trouble. So keeping warm is a top priority and a much talked about topic.
Always cold. On the boat.
Yes.
That must be Bauer.
It's our skipper, Bauer.
Bauer. Bauer is always cold.
He's the guy for sure the most clothes on, even when it's hot.
I think you have to say the other way around. Who's the guy who's never cold? That's me, because I always have the most clothes on. Look at my feet. You think I get cold feet? No worries.
But can you walk with them?
Ridiculous. Look very warm, but not very easy to walk on the boat.
Looking stupid. But now I'm getting more and more jealous, because my feet is not as dry as I want to. Maybe have to take that back again, all the laughing.
But they look pretty funny when they're coming walking down the dock with me.
Wearing so many layers and accessories takes time and effort.
You know that when the doctors they put the gloves that they have to be sterilized? This is more important, even more important than that, that the hand is dry. If I get a little bit of water, I will be freezing. Not very easy to put on, but... The tricky thing is, if you have a change, a sail change, or something needs to happen on the boat, then it's of course heavy activity. You start sweating, and having 5 layers of clothes on, soaking wet. And then you get cold, like everybody knows after sports, you know. When I finish to put the gloves, my watch is over.
Having been there before, the seasoned sailors know how harsh conditions can be, but it doesn't make it any easier to handle.
This is my 4th Volvo. I think it's always the same. You always forget the bad moments and forget how cold it is, and then you come back and it's super cold again.
Cold is not so bad because we have clothes for that. So we can use all this thermal stuff and that's pretty good. So we deal with. Humidity is the bad one. Especially it's difficult because you can be fully dry, but then you go and you're gonna be sweating. Then you have a lot of salt, and the salt is gonna make yourself even more humid. So the whole thing starts becoming bad. No? Normally, what we do, the best thing is once we go into the bank, then you get dry again. And these hours of sleeping on the same time are the hours that you get dry and you dry the clothes that are with yourself. No? The sleeping bag is the best way for us to take away this humidity.
The fleet is currently sailing under the latitudes of 50 degrees in pretty harsh conditions. As the boats move further and further away from land, the risk of encountering icebergs increases.
In the Whitbread days, there was no information about ice drifting in the ocean. And as you were leaving Auckland, the Great Circle Line, which is the shortest distance between Auckland and Cape Horn, was pushing you to the 60s or even southern. So if you really wanted to minimize the distance, you needed to go south. That's why they were always seeing icebergs. And now we look at them as if they were crazy, you know, because they were kind of sailing blind. They were sailing still very fast. These boats were able to average 20 knots as well, and it's a little bit scary. Now we have information and we can protect the sailors. My view is that the sailing in the Southern Ocean is hard enough as per to let them sail through a minefield. It's like playing the Russian roulette. You cannot control what's going to come. The Volvo Ocean Race organizers have designed an ice exclusion zone based on extensive research, extensive scan of the ocean with many different technologies that basically try to find every bump in the ocean surface, and once you get those images you need to find out whether it's a ship or it's an ice, so there's a lot of analysis involved. It's the only way to make sure that we minimize the chances that they will sail through ice. Still, it's never guaranteed that they will not see any, because you cannot scan the whole ocean. And our systems could be blind to very small sizes of icebergs. Even if we are doing everything that we can, it's always possible. An iceberg is a big threat to a Volvo Ocean 65, basically because these are boats that travel very, very fast, and overnight you may miss them. Maybe you see them on the radar, maybe you don't see them, and if you don't see them, it's like crashing to this island. It's from 20 knots to 0, so it can be a boat sinking situation.
A situation so deadly that it is constantly on the navigator's mind as they assess their routes relentlessly.
few days ago they moved it all up because there was 1 kilometre wide iceberg that appeared, and then it appeared to drift faster than they expected as well, because there's a sort of a current denoted by these arrows. So there's definitely plenty of ice around, but so far they're doing a good job of keeping us out of it. All the blue dots in here are icebergs that have been picked up by the various different radar scenes.
In the event of such a nightmare situation, the boats have been designed with a crash bow, a space that will absorb the impact of the collision without changing the integrity of the hull.
If we hit something hard like an iceberg or a big lump of wood or something like that, it'll destroy the crash bow, but not the hull integrity will remain intact, so we don't get water. Pretty good idea, really.
I think it's the ones you can't see that are the ones that are more danger, because they're probably still half the size of this boat underwater and they're easy enough to sink us and you don't even know they're existing. So there's definitely a different smell in the air. If they're upwind of you, you can smell the frozen water rather than just the sea air.
Sailing in such extreme conditions means that the crew are following very strict safety rules while doing their job.
Safety on this race is obviously very important, but on this leg in particular, we're there's a fine line between pushing the boat really, really hard and backing off for safety, and obviously it's a big focus on getting there in one piece and with everyone happy and healthy. So always want to be hooked onto the boat if you can be. So we've got a harness built into our life jacket there, and there's an AIS unit on there for if we fall overboard. So very important. I carry another AIS on me as well, so the boys can find me if I fall in.
Pretty windy down here. It's been 25 to 35 for the last few hours, and it's raining right now, so visibility isn't great, and safety is of the utmost importance. The water's really cold, and if somebody were to fall overboard, that'd be a serious life-threatening issue. So it is a yacht race, but we all do need to get there safely. That's the #1 priority.
You only get one chance. It's very hard to go back and get someone, so emphasising all the time. Flip on what's benign 10 seconds later is just a 2 metres wall of water. That's why you see everyone sort of jammed in the places to protect themselves. Because even if you don't go overboard, you might break a leg or something. So, and then that's a big inconvenience for everyone, not just the person who's screaming in pain.
The fleet is now in such a remote location that even the smallest incident can have huge repercussions, as the crew have to deal with any situation thrown at them.
We, my friend, are in the middle of the Pacific. We're very close to Point Nemo, which is the furthest point from land, anywhere on the planet Earth.
Point Nemo is just under 3,000 kilometers away from land, in any direction.
Our closest human contact right now is potentially the space station, so we're sending a couple of tweets to the astronauts. We are at Point Nemo on Earth, and you are probably the closest human contact we have right now.
The sailors may be miles away from solid ground, but they're still sticking together. As has happened many times this race, the fleet is in close racing mode due to the one design boat.
Just saw map race there. There are 4 boats. It's nice after a week in open ocean with tough conditions for a few days to be so close here in 4 boats. Unbelievable.
Offshore there. America here. Abu Dhabi.
I think it's amazing. Everybody together in the Southern Ocean.
This is yacht racing, not as we know it.
Like the American Cup, man.
Yeah. I'd say it's a long time since 4 boats were this close in the Southern Ocean.
Where you're sitting, yes, is New Zealand. So we have sailed all the way down here. Yep. And now we are hit this corner here of the ice. This here is the ice gate. We are not allowed to sail on this side of the rope, okay?
Because you all have to go around this point.
Everybody just comes
to the point and then apart and then
If the ice gate wasn't here, we would be sailing all the way like this. Because this here is Cape Horn, the bottom of the cloth. Okay. So now we're going to sail along here, it's jibing, pick up a new system that's coming, and then we're going to go around the Cape.
We have a half an hour now, we will jibe for a day. Lots of sleep?
No.
With the ice gate being so close, the teams are working hard at staying south without crossing the line.
Jibing.
The boats are pushed hard, and so are the crew.
Last night was intense. Bit of a jibe ball, jibing every 15 minutes to 40 minutes. They call it yacht racing.
The following 36 hours are tense, as none of the teams are willing to give an inch. Pushing the boat so hard is not without consequences. On board Dongfeng, the top section of the mast just broke off, leaving the crew without any means to carry on racing for now.
Let's get it up by the rig so we know that it's with the rig, okay? The good thing is we're only a couple hundred miles from Cape Horn, so we're still have a bit of rig up with the J3 up, so we're doing like 8 knots in the right direction. Always really dangerous situation these, because there's a lot of bits flying around, and it's pretty hard to stabilize the situation. At some stage, I think we're going to get up there and cut some stuff off. The whole leeward side of the rig is quite damaged, so we can only sail on port tack.
First idea is to go to Ushuaia. We imagined the safest way was to go by the south from Cape Horn, but I'm not sure we can jibe because we have no spreader on command. The other situation is to go inside the Ushuaia passage by the west. So right now we have G3 and G2 and we are moving 9 knots. We will be there in 20 to 30 hours.
As the Franco-Chinese crew assesses its options, thoughts on the remaining boats turn to rounding Cape Horn.
For the sailors, Cape Horn is like Mount Everest for the mountaineers.
How many days have you run it? This is the 8th time around.
8.
And you? My 5th. Not many people that have done it. You enter a special group. Very, very small percentage that are stupid enough to sail around Cape Horn all the way from New Zealand.
Legendary. Because back in the days, when people used to sail this route, when there was no Panama Channel, lots of boats drowned, crashed, and just all this weather, all this storm, you know. I would say it's not the Cape Horn itself, it's the whole, passage, and the Cape Horn is just tip of the iceberg.
I don't think it's the highlight of the race in that sense. If you haven't been around Cape Horn, you haven't done the race.
Next week, Skipper Charles makes a tough call. The leading pack is rounding the Horn, and Brazil goes nuts for the arriving fleet.